Yo, yo.
Yo, what up? This is Mike Brown.
This is Alpha.
And this is The Art of Letting Go.
Letting go. Letting go.
Yeah, man.
What's happening?
Not too much. I kind of lost my voice a little bit, so I'm trying to push through that.
That's real.
December has been moving very slow. Not in a bad way. I recognize on my way over here, I think December is moving slow for me because it's giving me time to be prepared for 2019. I usually reflect a lot before the year ends, and in reflecting, it definitely made me look back at just the year that we've experienced with this podcast. And just looking at some of the things that I've tried to work through, and just my progression within them, you know, and I'm sure you could relate and do the same. Just off the top of my head, the episodes for me where I think I feel my growth most present is probably the male vulnerability, creating freely, and even talking about role models, man. Like just looking at how much fear I've overcome through this. I think that has been my biggest challenge in letting go, and you know, seeing how I see myself. Yeah. And I feel a lot of growth and a lot of progression within that.
Yeah, I hear you on that. I've been doing some reflecting on the podcast as well, and just kind of where we started from and what it's grown into on access. Technical difficulties. We back on it. But yeah, man, I think the male vulnerability was the biggest one for me, because I kind of carry it everywhere that I go now. I find myself being vulnerable to help others be vulnerable. And I don't even do it on purpose. I just noticed that that's kind of just how I operate. Like, I don't always do it, but if I'm around a group of men, I'm typically the one to kind of start the conversation off. Yeah. And I know that they feel awkward because I feel awkward. Starting the conversation and just continuing, and not just talking about miscellaneous things like sports and you know, stuff like that, like surface stuff that I feel like men really talk about. And I feel like this year we've really been able to encounter that a lot more, as far as getting males to just kind of open up, especially black men, to open up and talk about, you know, insecurities and things that they're dealing with in their lives, and just growth, and it's cool, man. Like I really enjoy when we have guests as well to hear from the men, especially like when Robert and T-Hop came over from the Couple of Nobodies podcast, and to hear like their dynamic and the different things that they were going through, and to kind of talk through it with them, you know what I'm saying? Like that kind of stuff really is when it has impacted me the most, probably in the last year since we started the podcast.
I definitely feel myself being a lot more open with men and with people in general, but more specifically with men, because I know for me, I had a hard time talking to men about being gay and being in relationships and stuff like that, and now I really don't give a fuck, because you know, I've talked about my life so much here. It's like, if I can express it here, and as many people that hear here, you know, it goes as far as it goes. Right. When I'm face to face with somebody, you know, it kind of sets the tone for me. You know, so and what I've learned, because from my experience in the past, I always thought that men were afraid to hear about my quote unquote lifestyle. Right. And what I've learned is, like, a lot of men are very appreciative to hear my experiences, because then it makes them feel open to share their experiences and recognize, regardless of your sexuality, your age, any of that shit, like at the end of the day, we are all men, we're all human, we all go through the same shit and the same experiences, so it's dope to share experiences with people and get those back and, you know, gain more knowledge and shit. So I really appreciate that.
Yeah, I can say that I've learned a lot by you sharing, and it's opened me up to having a lot of different conversations that I wasn't afraid to have before. I just didn't have them, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I've actually learned a lot talking to you and then meeting other people and talking to them. It just kind of opening my mind up to just see other people's journeys. I was actually talking to another person, a coworker of mine, and I was telling her, like, I'm interested in learning more about just different religions. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a Christian, and I believe I always identify as a Christian. But just learning about Islam and learning about even Confucius and just the different stuff, because I feel like a lot of times we're so limited in what we know, and we're taught a certain thing and we just kind of stick with that certain thing that we're taught, and we never really branch out to learn anything new. And that goes to even having like the quote unquote gay conversation. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're taught it's taboo and you're not supposed to have that conversation, especially as a black man. And so in having those type of conversations with you and with other people, I've learned just so much about myself and the commonalities that we have regardless of sexual orientation and, you know, lifestyle. Like, it's interesting to me to see the growth that I've had over the last year because of the podcast. Yeah.
And I think, you know, once people start talking to each other more and listening to each other and respecting each other more, we will recognize that we all are the same.
Right.
At the end of the day, we're all human beings, and you know, the more connected that we are, the more that we're going to grow. You know, a lot of people are afraid of growth. That's why you see people that worry about, you know, what a celebrity is doing or what politics are going on, because they're afraid to deal with themselves. You know what I mean? So I feel like every week we come on here and we deal with ourselves at whatever level we're at. And that's one thing I noticed, like, you know, as the weeks have continuously gone on, it's constantly been progression. And, you know, I look forward to more of that. And one thing I love to do before a new year starts is set some goals. You know, if that's one tool that I could share with our listeners, is to set your goals, aim high, and don't lose sight of the motherfuckers, because, you know, you might be shooting for one thing, and if you continue to go for it, it's going to be way more grand than you can ever imagine.
Right. Absolutely. I agree with you 100 on that. I think we should do that. I think we should have maybe even a goals episode when we kind of share some of the things we want to work on, because I believe in setting the goals, but I also believe in having someone hold you accountable for the different things that you want to accomplish too. And so
I agree with that.
You know, I think it'd be good for us to kind of have something like that. And I don't know if it's possible to create like a virtual vision board or something like that, but that'd be really dope. But it was something else that you shared that I wanted to touch on. I can't remember what it was. It was about growth. It's funny. I was actually talking to myself. And you know how when we were younger, it was about the stunt. It was about like who was dressed the best and who had this and who had that. And now I'm so off of that. Like, I'm so more on like, who are you as a person? Like, how are you living your life? How do you treat other people? You know what I'm saying? Versus like what you got and how flashy you can be. And not to say that I was there. Well, I was probably more on it than when we first started the podcast versus now. And I just wanted to highlight that that's another part of my growth that I've really, you know, discovered and encountered. Like, I really don't care about all of that stuff, all the material stuff no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, I still want the Concords though, you know, the Jordan 11s. But I don't really care about all of that stuff. I don't care about what people have no more, how they look. It's more about, I see the beauty in people now that I think I didn't always look for. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can look at someone and be like, man, that's a beautiful person. You know what I'm saying? Regardless. And I really appreciate that aspect. So if there is anything that I could kind of share, is think about the things that you've appreciated over this last year. Like, it's easy to overlook your experiences, because we're just in the hustle and bustle of life, and we don't always pay attention to what we've been through. But look back on and see what you've appreciated, either from yourself or from somebody else over the last year, and take that into the next year. You know what I'm saying? Like, really try to bring that same energy and more into 2019, because it's I really feel like it's an area of appreciation, of goal setting, and just executing everything that you have in mind. Like, that's really what 2019 has been for me, like, mentally. And I'm glad you said writing the goals down, because I knew I wanted to do that, but this is gonna make me do it.
That's the only way I've ever been able to accomplish things. I have a million ideas in my mind, but the ones that I feel that I complete the most are the ones that I actually put to paper. Not even writing it in my phone or on the computer, but actually putting it on paper and seeing it and feeling it and being tangible. It's like, okay, this can be accomplished because it's here.
Right.
So I've seen that throughout my entire life, and it's something that works for me. I would love, for people to share their tools that they have. If you have tools, to share them, because I would love to just grow more in accomplishing my goals. The one thing that I did recognize about myself this year is that when I didn't feel like I reached a mark that I felt like I was supposed to reach, it was because I didn't give 100% of my effort. Not that I second guess myself, but I've always moved with a backup plan.
That's real, man.
In 2019, that's something I want to let go of, my backup plan, because if I know what I'm supposed to be doing and I have it planned out, there is no backup. There's no need for a backup. Right. You know what I mean? I feel like my backup is actually prolonging the process of what I really need to be doing. Facts. So that's something I would like to let go of before going into the new year.
I'm with you on that, bro. I'm not even go try to add nothing. I'm 100% there with you. I definitely have had backup plans on backup plans on backup plans, and I definitely feel like it's impeding my growth. And another thing I wanted to talk about was another reason why I haven't accomplished as much is because I don't like asking for help. And I've seen that in this past year. I've allowed myself to let that guard down and really just ask somebody, like, yo, I need your help, man. Like, I don't know how to do this. Or can you show me, or can you at least teach me how to do it so that I can apply it myself and I don't have to, or let me pay you so that you can show me how to do something, because I believe everybody deserves to get paid for whatever it is that they do. And so, but asking for that help now, like, getting to it, just becoming more vulnerable. Like, I've walked with such a standard, you know what I'm saying? Like, I really feel like I've shown people who I've wanted them to see me as, and not really been myself. So being more vulnerable in that way, asking for help, put myself out there. I definitely want to carry that into 2019, but I definitely want to not have a backup plan. Like, I 100% agree with that. That was a bar.
And I and I definitely think for myself, being my most authentic self in all situations is probably something that I really learned this year also, because I feel the same way as well. Like, I've probably shown people or created what I wanted people to see. And now I walk into every space as Mike Brown. And dressed how I dress, talk how I talk, and get accepted. I recognize in every medium that I step into, whether it be a basketball gym or, something music related or school related or anything, I always bring myself and I always get love for that. And I appreciate that so much.
Yeah, man. I agree. And I've definitely learned that too. And I go back to the episode, after homecoming, and going back in 2014 really showed me how much of myself I can really rely on being. Because before then I felt like I lost myself for a little bit. And just relying on that more and more, you know what I'm saying? Like, just living in it, and day by day, and making it an effort to live in that truth. It's something that I'm definitely gonna be. I feel like we're kind of making our goal list right now. Living in 2019. To be honest, I'm really looking forward to the year, man. I think it's gonna be a great year for not just us, but for everybody. Like, if you really put that foot forward in 2019, I really believe a lot of dreams even if it's the beginning of a dream, it's gonna come true. Like I 100 wholeheartedly believe that's gonna happen. Like it's not a shadow of a doubt in my mind, and it's scary. Yeah, like it's so real to me that it scares me. Like, man, this is whatever's about to happen is about to happen. You know what I'm saying? And I'm excited. I'm excited, man. I'm looking forward to the year, and I hope to hear from anybody on what they have planned for 2019, what their goals are, if they were able to reflect on anything and really see that, you know, how they've grown. Like I would love to hear those. Yeah. To hear those stories. You know what I'm saying? Like going back. Just the little stories that we hear here and there from different people encourages me so much about doing this podcast and being vulnerable and letting me know, like, all right, you walking in the right lane. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm with it. I'm with it all.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's all I really have for today. You know, I can't really even feel. I really feel like I could barely talk.
Right.
Okay, that sounds good. So we can shut down in 10 minutes.
Right. We got to get up out of here anyways.
Yeah.
Where can the people find you at, brother?
You can find me at Just Mike Brown on all social media. Mm-hmm. You can find me at primomiguel.com for all creative endeavors. You can also find me at Just Mike Beats on SoundCloud and Instagram. This week, I'm actually going to start posting beats every week to start selling. I have a lot of beats just stored on hard drives, on top of hard drives. So I'm going to just start getting them out. And, you know, whatever happens with them, happens with them. Like, you know, they're not for me to hold on to anymore.
Yeah, that's what's up. That's what's up. You can find me on social media, Alfpha Presents, ALFPHA_presents. You can find the podcast on iTunes, on where we at? Google Play, YouTube at the Art of Letting Go podcast, also on SoundCloud, and we're actually doing something on the 30th, right?
Yeah, so on the 30th we are doing a bonfire on the beach, like the last one we did earlier this year. It's a celebration of 2018 to celebrate the positives and the negatives, to, you know, join in a community with a lot of like-minded people that are trying to grow as well. I would love for everybody to bring something to let go of for the bonfire that you would like to leave in this year. And you know, it's a celebration, bitches.
Right.
That's really what it's about.
Bring something to let go of and bring something to hold on to.
Absolutely.
If you catch my drift. But yeah, man, I'm looking forward to that too. And I hope to hear from you all. I pray everybody has a blessed weekend. And live life. Like, please live life and remember to breathe through it. All right, man.
All right, this has been Mike Brown.
This is Alpha.
And this is The Art of Letting Go.
Letting go. Letting go. I just saw Charlie Wilson in the concert, so I'm like I'm all about that right now. But all right, y'all. Peace.